So my favourite sticking, I think one of the things that you can use really a hell of a lot is the Billy Cobham sticking, which is if you're kind of in 4 here. So if you strip out components of that, just the group of 3. So there's a number of things you could do with this, obviously round the toms, there's lots of different things you can do with it. You can also start to add things to it. So for example, if you've got, that's got 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. Lots of different ways you can kind of build it together. Another great thing about this particular little rudiment is that it's really good at showing some of the ambiguity that you find in African rhythms. So for example, if you take it and you split the hands, you kind of get 2 distinct patterns that you find within a kind of African kind of group of 3, or, you know, feel of 3. You get those 2 things, so it's a really useful musical rudiment for percussion and the drums. So my favourite drum groove has got to be the Steve Gadd classic. It's just a great combination with the hi-hat and the snare, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, you know, I always think that drums and percussion and music in general, you've got to be really good philosophically. So I'm going to pick a philosopher, and it's Immanuel Kant, the great philosopher. And he had 2 terms that he used a lot in his philosophy, and they were praxis and poesis. And that kind of means that one of these actions, poesis, contains an action outside, a goal outside of the action itself. And the praxis involves just the goal itself. So if you play music just because you love playing music, then you're in good faith with yourself. That's praxis. If you're playing to, you know, get laid or make loads of money, then you're kind of in bad faith with yourself, and you're kind of trying to get something that's not music from music. It's like trying to get a cat from a dog. So Immanuel Kant. Well, you've got to define what it is you want, whether you want to, you know, the idea of making it is those boundaries are changing all the time. So really, I think what you've got to focus on is loving to play music. And then if out of that you happen to, you know, get successful or achieve different objectives and different goals, then that's great. But the most important thing is you've got to focus on, you know, playing music and then working as hard as you can. So putting yourself in the best position when the opportunity comes along, because you might have one opportunity in your life and it might just pass you by because you're not prepared. So you've got to be prepared every day. If someone comes and wakes you up in the middle of the night, you've got to play.